automatically. And then we're going to get started with part 3 of biblical masculinity. Okay. So let me get this thing up and going properly. There we go. Just getting everything set up. It's loading up, it's initiating. And like I said, we're going to get started with part 3 of biblical masculinity. In the meantime, listen to my man, beloved Dawood, or Dawid, because this is one of my, like, I like a lot of his music. Like, this is my worship music. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, while the stream gets up and going, y'all could just listen to this song.
I know. Yeah. You better man up. You better man up. You gotta man up. It's time to man up. You're running out of time, young fella.
Yeah, we'll be getting started here momentarily. I'm just getting everything up and going. That's all I'm doing. So just bear with me. Yep, we'll be getting started here with biblical masculinity. We'll be getting started here soon. Just getting all the little programs up and going. Alright. And you're listening to beloved Dawid, Man Up, one of my favorite songs. A lot of my worship music is this brother here. That is what I listen to. So, yeah, my man, beloved Dawid, I like his music. No matter the cards, just A to B. They ducking reality, claiming real. They drinking from bottles with broken seals. Them itchy palms don't mean a thing. See how tradition all in our jeans. Apply what you know. Alright. And like I said, we're getting ready to get started with biblical masculinity, part 3 of the series. Definitely gonna be we're definitely going to get deeper into it in this one. So yeah, I'm just checking everything. We're going to get started here. Like I said, that's beloved Dawid. Yeah, it's him right here. So you could check him out. Check out more of his music. Mind Culture Forever. Mind Culture. Just type that into the YouTube or whatever. You could get more of his music. One of my favorite artists. And that's my type of worship music. You know what I'm saying? Worship music for men. Alright. So with that said, we're going to get started with this lesson. It's part 3 of biblical masculinity, a series I've been doing. I think I got one more place to share it too. Let me see. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about that right now. But anyway, like I said, part 3 to biblical masculinity. There's a series defining and clearly breaking down. Shalom, sis. But yeah, this is a series just clearly breaking down, and according to the scriptures, what it really is to be a man. It is under attack in today's society, Satan has always been after the man. He's always seek to turn things completely upside down, and he's deceptive. So people are unaware of how upside down things have been turned in today's society. So that's what we've been going through in this lesson. So one of the things that this lesson is gonna hit on is what women find attractive in men and what men find attractive in women. It's gonna hit on that a little bit, begin to go into that. You know, like I said, we're gonna begin to go in deep on a lot of stuff I hit on in the first 2 parts of this series, because this is part 3. So I got my notes here, you know what I'm saying? So I'll be going off them. I got some scriptures I'm going to be going to, so we're going to begin to get deep in the scriptures with it. So I got what I wrote here. I wrote my service and dedication to the Lord. You know, you get in these in churches, in religion, and even in the Hebraic community, there's a lot of talk. You know, there's a lot of talk, but there's not a lot of application and action and works. You know what I'm saying? This stuff that what I teach here is, you know, if you can't apply it in your life and make it work, what's the point? You know, I'm not sitting here saying a bunch of good stuff, this, that. Now I'm directly hitting on why I'm putting my finger directly on why people are struggling with relationships, why a lot of men can't get into relationships, why a lot of women can't find a relationship, all that stuff like that. Put my finger directly on it. And I mean, you might get your feelings hurt, but there won't be anything to argue with. You know what I'm saying? And I was just thinking when I was putting this thing, I was just thinking that when I put this thing up here, because I've been teaching on this for years, and I welcome it, but nobody ever gets on here and debates with what I'm saying, you know, and there's a reason why, because nobody's teaching this stuff. And that's why relationships are disasters. But yet, this stuff I'm talking about is all through the book. It's all through there. You see it all through the book. But we've been so deceived and brainwashed, we don't realize it's there. So let me see what you said. You said, yes, it's an epidemic with the men where women have the wrong ideas of today's man. Exactly. And vice versa. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa, you know. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna break that. We're gonna get through all that. We're gonna expose that. We're gonna put people, give them the right understanding of how they need to be, you know, with each other. So what I put here is my service and dedications to the Lord. What you see is a lot of talk. Oh, Lord this, Lord that. But I just want to hit on this because what happened with me, when I really came into the truth and realized that, because what happened, I made a declaration. I said, Lord, it was when I was like, I think I was like 30 something, 36, 34, I don't know. But I said, Lord, I've been back and forth in this word my whole life. But I said, now I was like, I'm going to buckle down and I don't care where this truth takes me. I'm going to get to the bottom of this thing and find out the truth about this word. Because I know this thing is true, but I know what I'm learning is off. So I just started seeking. And what ended up happening, I realized that I could see where the Most High was guiding me through my whole life. You know what I'm saying? And where I realized that he was trying to navigate me through this life so I wouldn't step on one of life's landmines and destroy myself. When I realized that, my service and dedication became to the Lord, to the point where I put the priority of serving him over everything. And that's not, everybody says that, but I'm not just talking it. I'm talking about if somebody has some type of, like if I'm going to an event, you know, biblical event, the fellowship with my brothers, I'm there on time. I act like it's more important than my job than anything else. You know what I'm saying? And I see a lot of people, they pay lip service to all that. But then when it comes to something with our Hebrew nation or with our brothers, you kind of, they put it on the priority level of a social club situation. I don't. I put it above work, family, everything. That serving him the most important thing. So that's why I put that in there. My work serves to the Lord. I just put a quick statement. Something for you to consider while I'm talking is I'm most grounded. This is a masculine mindset. I'm most grounded in chaos. Like I don't lose it. I don't fall to depression when chaos and stuff like that's going on around me. All right. So with that said, getting into the lesson, warriors are looked down upon in this gay Greco-Roman society that we live in. This Greco-Roman European society, warriors and masculine real men are looked down upon. Feminized men have a natural resistance to masculine men. They make them uncomfortable. So you see that. So there'll be a lot of, if you're a masculine man, you'll run into subtle, passive. It's not direct resistance. It is passive, sneaky, I guess, resistance from feminized men. And it's almost like a nervous reaction from them because they naturally, you know what I'm saying? They naturally, they have a natural, the feminized spirit is naturally, or the emasculated spirit is naturally against a masculine man who's walking in his biblical masculinity, or however you want to call it. If you want to look at the prophets in the Bible, look at how Jezebel came against the prophets. You know, look at how all these people would come against the prophets. You know what I'm saying? So I put a verse in there, 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. It says, For God have not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And I'm going to have to read that again when later on, after I go through the qualities that a lot of our men are struggling with today. I'm going to have to go back to that scripture because a lot of our emasculated men today, they have a spirit of fear. They don't have a sound mind. They don't walk in a spirit of power. Okay? So that is not the spirit of Yahuwah, the Most High. Okay? That is not what that spirit is. They're walking in another spirit. Okay? So really getting down to the nitty gritty now as far as identifying exactly what masculinity is and what women are attracted to. We're going to start going into some qualities of masculinity and what these men who have trouble attracting women or have trouble in relationships or just chronically single and can't meet a woman, these almost across the board, these are the behaviors that they always have. Okay? This is their mindsets. Okay? They're afraid of conflict. Okay? They're unsure of themselves. They're afraid to just walk up to people and talk and be open. They're real kind of closed in and apprehensive. They're not, it's like they don't have, which I guess you call it charisma or something, where they can just talk because they have all these insecurities wound up in their head and they're ashamed of certain things that they don't know how to overcome in themselves. One of those things is pornography addiction. A lot of dudes are ashamed of that, and it shows because they're not able to be open and be themselves with people. Then you have a lot of people who have the pornography addiction and they've overcome, or they have the lust addiction and they've overcome being all shy and recluse. They've overcome that. And that's almost worse because now they act outwardly and they turn into whoremongers and they're out there running around with women and doing all types of crazy stuff. A lot of these men are easily intimidated by everything because they're unsure of themselves. They have childish responses to situations like, shoot, just look on Facebook, man. Like, because that ties right into the next thing. They can't deal with frustration. So look at these dudes who just instantly get all like they literally they'll read a comment and get emotional on it and get all, I've had people come in the comments and just go off on me, and I just, okay, move on to the next thing. Because it doesn't affect me because I'm grounded in who I am. I know it's not going to change who I am. But a man who's not grounded, who's not foundationally mounted and all that stuff like that, some comment in a Facebook will just ruin his day, like a woman or something like that, like some kid. Because I ain't even going to say like a woman, because there's women who don't get all wound up like that. Because that goes for both sides. And the other thing that leads to is they're stubborn, which as a nation, we are a stubborn people. Okay? So when these men, they're not grounded and they're not willing to look at themselves because pride creates stubbornness. Okay? You don't want to look at yourself. Okay? So, and like I said, all these behaviors coalesce together to make you walk around insecure. And when I say insecure, you're not mounted to nothing. Anything can destabilize you and get you mad or scared or angry or shy or whatever. You're not consistent in your behavior. So a good example of being consistent in your behavior, for instance, me, the same way I'm talking to y'all right now in this podcast is the same way I talk when I get up and do a lesson in front of people on location. Is the same way I talk to my wife, is the same way I talk to my kids, is the same way I talk to the people at my job. I'm this way everywhere. If you met me, I'd be talking to you the exact same way. You know what I'm saying? But then you see some of these people who, they're not grounded in themselves. They don't have their biblical masculinity, their biblical identity or whatever. They're one way when they're teaching. They're another way when they're around certain people. They're another way when they're around these people. They're another way they're not consistent. They have different identities. And you know what I'm saying? And that is not secure because changing, you're moving around in your personality, so you're not secured to something. Your roots are not planted into something. You're like tumbleweed. The wind blows you around everywhere. And a grounded masculine man is like a palm tree. He's rooted to the ground. Even when a hurricane comes, he don't break. He just, he'll sway a little, but he's not. Imagine tumbleweed in a hurricane. It's just going to be blown. Who knows where it's going to wind up in a chaos, in a situation. And this is why, in the Bible, it says, there's multiple wives, but I haven't met a man yet who is. Most men I run into ain't even ready for one wife. Most men I run into ain't even ready to be together with themselves. They ain't even got. They're not one with themselves yet, because they're not even grounded. They're tumbleweed. Let alone to get into a relationship and a marriage. Okay? So, it's like you putting the cart way before the horse. And then on top of that, we don't have a government. We don't have our nation set up to really support that anyway. But so you got what you run into, you got men who are not rooted, they're not grounded, they're like tumbleweed. They get into a relationship with a woman, and that woman's emotions, because a woman is emotional. Her emotions change and all that stuff, and they get in a relationship with a woman, and they're just blown all over the place like tumbleweed, and their emotions be all over the place. And it's not attractive. And then they end up suffering in relationships. Here's a heavy one. A lot of these men can't even meet a woman because they're not emotionally grounded enough to just walk up and talk to a woman. That the emotion of walking up and talking to the woman blows them all over the place, and they can't handle it, so they're afraid of that. Me? I'll walk up, I'll talk to anybody about anything, it don't matter. And that goes back to being a man. You got to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. You got to be in an uncomfortable situation where, like me, I'm not afraid to confront people. I'm not afraid to be confronted. It don't shake me up and throw me off and get me all angry and defensive. You know what I'm saying? I'm not uncomfortable with stuff like that. And these are important things that we need to overcome. Is all these fears. A lot of men, they struggle in their relationships and in their marriages because they're like, you know what? If I bring that up, it's going to be an argument. I don't even feel like, I don't even feel like confronting her on that and arguing. And then their house is a mess. And y'all know that scripture I read yesterday. The scripture was so heavy, I'm going to pull it up right now. Because it's here we go. All right, hold on one sec. Okay. Yeah, that scripture is so heavy. Let me pull it up here. It's Ecclesiasticus 27:3. It says, unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord, his house shall soon be overthrown. And this is that diligently. Having your character, is your character a biblical masculine character like the Most High said you're supposed to be? 90% of these dudes, heck no, because this don't get taught. Like, this is the part of the Bible that's suppressed and never taught. Okay? In a lot of these feminized churches that are out there, this is the part of the Bible that is suppressed. Men don't realize that they got to stand and fight for their house. They got to go to war sometimes and get that thing out. If you just sit there with that dysfunction up in your house, eventually it's gonna overrun it. And when I say overrun it, it's subtle deception. It's gonna slowly begin to affect your children, and then your children are gonna repeat the cycle and struggle through life. You know what I'm saying? It's imperative that you get your house in order. But you have to do it with wisdom and righteousness, which righteousness means according to Yah's laws, statutes, and commandments. Okay? That's what righteousness is. Just look it up for yourself. And his commandments aren't just, oh, don't eat pork. Oh, wear everybody, women need to wear a skirt or whatever. All these little surface rules. He also commands you to get your daggone mind right and align with his word, with his law, statutes, and commandments and all that stuff like that. And like I said, Proverbs, Psalms, and Ecclesiasticus are a detailed breakdown of all Yah's law, statutes, commandments, and the mindset and how you need to be thinking. That Ecclesiasticus and Proverbs will show you, like, if these thoughts are popping up in your mind and this is the way you think, because it covers every single thing you could deal with in your life in Proverbs and Ecclesiasticus. In detail, though. That's what I'm saying. It breaks it down to the minute detail, to where it's the ultimate mirror of this is who I am. And it's going to show you. You cannot read through those books and not see a bunch of areas you got to work on in yourself. And I'm speaking from experience, and still today, there's a ton of work I got to do. Okay? So those books, those are heavy books there. Okay? Hold on one sec. All right. So, that's a heavy thing. So it said, your house will get overthrown. And I'm telling you, because I'm not saying all churches. I've met some Christian pastors even recently who, they're just coming in this truth, but they spirit spot on. Okay? So I'm not saying every church, but majority of these churches are directly opposite to this word. And it's designed to disempower you, empower the women, and get the woman under that pastor's control so he can remotely control your house and what goes on in there. For what? For filthy lucre's sake. All right? Some more characteristics of a real man are predictability, availability, assumability. Like, you can predict where I'm gonna be, how I'm gonna act, assume all that stuff. I'm not all over the place. I'm consistent, diligent. You know what I'm saying? That military mindset. It said the Lord is a man of war, and Yahuwah is his name. Like, all through this Bible, you see warfare, battling, blood, all through the book. Analogies to warfare. It says, for we war not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, spiritual wickedness in high places. All through the whole book is warfare and fighting. And then we get in the church and they're like, oh, just let go and let God. And he telling you, it tell you in the Bible, he's saying, gird up your mind. Stay sober-minded, stay vigilant. And they're saying, oh, just let go and release. And he's saying, stay vigilant, stay guarded, keep your mind sober, be watchful. And they're telling you the exact opposite. And then we're wondering why all this dysfunction's going on all over the place. It's nobody's speaking, nobody's letting you know that, hey man, you're on a battlefield, and they're telling you you're at like I don't know, you're at Disneyland, have fun, but you really walking around in a minefield. That's an analogy of what's literally happening out here. And then people are wondering why they're struggling in their relationships, and they stressed out, when the scripture says, for God have not given us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power and of love and of a sound mind. So why folks stressed out? I'm talking about folks be up in these churches and they be stressed out, going through situations, arguing at home, stuff be all crazy all over the place. So what spirit is that? I'll let you figure that one out. So what we have to do is begin to look at ourselves and identifying your fear, identifying your insecurities. You know what I'm saying? Seeing all these areas where you're weak at. And in order to do that, you can't have pride. Pride, that's why God hates pride. We're going to read Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, verse 7. It says, pride is hateful before God and man, and by both doeth one commit iniquity. Okay? He hates pride. Okay? He hates pride. All right? So, you know, and like I said, he detests pride. Yeah, so, and like I said, there's somebody in here in their emotions, you know, posting Antichrist and all this stuff. And let's check you out. We're gonna I see you in there. He's saying you saying F Christ. Okay. What we're gonna do, bro, is we're gonna go to your page and you know, we're gonna check you out, because I can already kind of discern the type of brother you are, you know, and we're just gonna see if we can make a lesson out of who you are. So let's go. So all I do is, so this dude, all I do is drink. Never in my life will I get peace. So this dude, yo, give me peace. Never. Antichrist. So this dude is basically crazy. Okay. Pronounce. Yeah, I'm on your page, and you look like you masturbate. You look like you're addicted to pornography, Ross Timpson. You look like your mind's not right. I mean, your page looks chaotic, and I bet your relationships with women are chaotic. And I mean, see, you're gonna get yeah, look how emotional you are, dude. You're in your feelings. But see, there's nothing for me to get mad about, because I mean, your payment is your life. Just think of the situations you're dealing with. You probably stressed out. I mean, I'm on your page, and it looked like you're a mess. You're let me see though. let's see. Yeah, we just yeah, you're an older dude. You're divorced. See? But just check him out, man. The dude's right there. Look at his comments. It's nothing to respond to. It's just his mind ain't right. And this is what happens when people's minds aren't right. The brother's divorced. His life is probably chaos. I mean, just looking at his page real fast, I could tell he don't have his mind right. He probably full of stress. He probably self-medicating with marijuana or alcohol or something just to get by, you know? So, I mean, you know, but this is what I was talking about earlier, you know, and I wouldn't respond to his comments. I don't mind him on there. He actually is verifies the truth of what I'm saying. Because when somebody comes on there like that, I just go to their page and go to his page, Ross Tinson, or however you pronounce his name, and just look at his page, and it verifies the truth of what I'm saying. It's chaos. He's emotional. His mind isn't right. It's not hard to spot people who are off. But, you know, like I said, people are walking around here because things are so deceptive. People are walking around here, they got demons on them, and they don't realize it because it's deceptive, okay? It's very deceptive when you have, you know, when demons are on you, you know? So, but yeah, I would move to say that this brother is either demonically possessed or demonically oppressed, okay? And that's why it's imperative to cleave to this book to keep your mind right. This brother's he's up 5 in the morning just typing on Facebook, cursing, just going crazy, all right? But anyway, let's press on. Like I said, the qualities of a feminized man. Being fearful, not secured, not sure how to act, being very emotional, easily intimidated, childish responses to situations, okay? You are stubborn, easily frustrated, and the way to get over this is victories, okay? It says victory brings confidence. So we got Proverbs and Sirach bring these behaviors to the surface. That's what I talked about earlier. You must challenge yourself to overcome these behaviors. When men struggle with attracting women, it's because of these behaviors. Like I said, the brother in here who's, you know, he's emotionally posting or whatever, you could go on his page. It looked like he don't even got a woman. He's already been divorced. So, and what I have here is a woman is like an authenticity tester. A woman is like a verifier of how much of a man you really are. Okay? So if you're struggling to get a woman and having issues, it's because you're really not a man. You have some stuff you got to work on to get your mind right, to get aligned with this word biblically. Now, another thing you see is a lot of abuse the power. Let's see. A lot. One of the things I talked about yesterday is hyper masculinity, where they go to the other extreme. A lot of men, what they say, ultimate power corrupts ultimately. That's what happens with a lot of men. It's like they when they begin getting that power, they easily abuse it. And it's a what? It's a turn off to the woman. That's why a lot of these brothers, they run to the other extreme, and then they're being men, but they're being hyper masculine men and just dominating everything, and it turns the woman off. And then it still end up getting divorced. Okay? Understanding what it takes. I don't, you must deal with a woman. So, like I said, this guy, this man who came on and he's posting all that stuff in there, it's the Most High providing examples for y'all to see firsthand that what I'm saying is no joke. That dude was posting all that, that dude was posting all those comments in there, F me, all that. Just look through the comments. He was posting all that stuff in there. Go look at his page. I promise he's going to be, his relationships fail. Just looking at his post, this is what I immediately knew about him. He struggles in his relationships. He's probably full of lust and masturbates. And his mind ain't right. His mind's all over the place. The dude probably crazy. That means he's demonically possessed or oppressed. Now, I walk it like I talk it. Go to his page. The dude's name is Ross Tinson, or whatever his name is. Tinson. He's on there. Look up the comments. He was up there cursing me out on there. But go verify what I say. You can spiritually discern people very easy. It's not hard. Okay? A lot of people are just full of Satan. And a lot of people don't even realize they're full of Satan, but their life testifies to the fact that they're not serving the Most High. Their situations. Now, like I said, I went to the brother's page. He divorced. He got porn up there on his page. He's posting all types of crazy stuff on his page, like he forgot to take his medication this morning. It's like, look, man, this word is true, man. All right. So let's got another verse here. And again, I got to go back to the scripture again. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. It says, for God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power. I got power. And of love. And of a sound mind. Now look at your boy here. Ross Tinson. He has a spirit of fear. He doesn't have power. He definitely doesn't have a sound mind, and it does not look like he's showing love out there. And his life is a reflection of that. Okay? And like I said, if you want to test what I'm saying, if you want to test what I've taught in the past 3 lessons that I've done on biblical masculinity, if you want to put that to the test, go to his page. All right? Go to his page, look it over, and see if I'm lying about what I've taught in the past 3 lessons on biblical masculinity. And I appreciate you, Ross Tendon. I appreciate you coming. The Most High let Satan send you out here to my comment page so everybody can know that what I'm teaching from this word is the truth. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap it up with one last scripture. What's it? Hold on one sec. I'm gonna pull up this scripture. And don't respond to him on there, y'all. You know, just like I said, just observe. You gotta observe. Don't jump on there with him. All right. And actually, I think I got one more thing on there, but all right. So let's see. And also he's putting Satan as Jesus and all this. But Ross, I have a good question for you. He said, "You think I have fear and I call myself the Antichrist?" Now, Ross, you're saying this stuff, but it said you will know them by their fruits. So apparently what you believe, if what you believe is right, you should have fruits. But when I go to your page, it looks like you're a single guy who looks at porn. So I don't see any fruit on your page. I see rotten fruit, but show me the fruits of this truth that you know. Because I can show you the fruit from what I know. Okay? So what you're posting up there is the truth, and it works. Show me examples of, how Satan is benefiting you and making your life work. Because when I went on your page, I seen a divorce, I seen some porn on there, I seen a bunch of crazy statements that were all over the place. It just looked like your mind ain't right. All right. So 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 5, it says, "Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ." That's what homeboy is not doing. Whatever Satan pops in his thoughts, he types it. Just go look at his comments. Ross Tinson. Go look on his page. It basically looks like a sane asylum or something. You could tell the dude didn't take his medication. But anyway, with that said, that's Biblical Masculinity Part 3. Apparently, this is really getting people and blessing people because, Satan done dispatched the clowns to my page. And, I don't mind. But anyway, with that said, you're watching Spiritual Combat, Biblical Masculinity Part 3. I'm glad y'all watching. There's going to be a lot more parts to this. And with that said,